Welcome back, everybody, to the SoCal Raider Report. Yes, we took the big L this week, but we are back, and we are doing it for the Raider Nation. Let me introduce our guests this week. We got some very special ones. Of course, right off the bat, my partner in crime, Raider Joe. What's going on, baby?
Raider Joe, here to go once again. I mean, we'll talk about it. We'll talk a little bit about it. I don't want to say much right now, but
me and Raider Joe were on location at the worst stadium in the world. SoFi, it was only 105 degrees outside, and it was like, once again, we are back here at SoFi Retarded Stadium for the Raiders versus Chargers, baby. And then, of course, Raider Joe Jr. up in cooler space up in Washington. How you doing, brother?
I'm pissed off, but I'm doing fine.
All right. Big Data's coming in. And then, of course, now, welcome back, everybody, to the show. Reasonable John. Reasonable John, how you doing, baby?
Great to be back. Want to bring some professionalism to the show and some reasonable outtakes on this. Thank you for having me.
Of course, and we missed you. Of course, we love to have you, man. So, guys, let's just take a deep dive real quick into that game. I mean, me and Joe were there. We were sweating it out with the fans, and I mean,
I'm your dream, make you real. I'm your eyes when you must steal. I'm your pain when you can't feel. Sad but true. I'm your dream, mind astray. I'm your eyes while you're away. I'm your pain while you repay.
I was at 85% Raider Nation home game, but once again, we walked away from SoFi Stadium with another loss.
Yeah! Bro, what the hell? Hey, someone pull the part! It's just a game, dog!
Who wants to take this one? Because basically, though, we all predicted that we were going to win, except for Joe Jr. said it was probably going to be a loss. So let me hear your thoughts on this game, because it was a disaster.
We had defense was pretty strong the entire game. Defense was only light in the Raider team, but the offense was atrocious. We got Adams the ball once, and the running game was never really established. We had maybe 2 runs that were over 5 yards. It was just awful. The O-line is trash.
The O-line was your biggest concern, though. You did mention that from the beginning. Your O-line prediction came true. The Chargers made the Raiders eat their lunch. Joe, you were there with me. What did you see?
well, I'm trying to stay a little quiet because I try to stay positive in this group. I try to bring the positivity even after a loss, but that I call it a D for disaster.
This is a disaster!
When you went into there, and why I say it was a disaster is because we did what we said we were going to do. We mobbed up that stadium, and the team let us down.
We always do that. We always do that, and they always let us down there.
We lost it in the first half by not taking advantage of opportunities. But in any football game, I mean, look, we still had a chance to win in the fourth quarter. We still, obviously, I think AP showed his lack of experience in coaching, by not going for it on 4th and 1. We could have, should have, would have, but at the same time, you lose a turnover battle in the NFL, you're going to lose the game. You lose a turnover battle 3-0, you're lucky you didn't get blown out in that game. So we got to make some adjustments. We got a tough game coming up, and it's a game that we all predicted we were going to lose. I'll be very surprised if we come out with the win, but I got to stay positive because Baltimore didn't look that good last week. We just looked worse.
No, and let me just say this right now. I mean, I guess SoFi is a $5 billion stadium, and nobody figured out put some MF and air conditioning in that son of a gun. I mean, it was hotter in there than it was outside, guys. I mean, I'm telling you right now, that is the hottest indoor, outdoor swap meet stadium I've ever seen in my life, and I am going back to that Rams game, but after that, I'm never going back there again.
I'm glad I ain't going with him.
I'm never.
Until next season.
I keep going for the same damn thing. But yeah, it was tough to watch. I mean,
What a fucking bummer.
every time the Raiders started doing something good, I just kept grabbing Joe and just like, shit, yeah. I was like, yeah. And then I was like, Frank the Tank. And then sure enough, it was just like all my hopes were dashed yet again. And, it's just sad to see because we are, even like my mom said, we spend our money and we spend our time and we dive so deep, and people like JT the Dick were saying, oh, this is a must win game and this is our Super Bowl, but we lost. So we're in bad shape, guys, right off the bat. It's an AFC West opponent. It was a conference opponent. And then now you go on to the East Coast where I want to hear from you, reasonable one, the Raven. I want to hear from you. How do the Raiders do on the East Coast in these 10 a.m. ball games?
Yeah, I 100% have been saying this is the one reasonable thing I'll bring to you that I agree with the Raider fans that, again, you guys got a 10 a.m. game, West Coast team traveling. You have a losing record doing that. It's very tough. So even if it was a 1 p.m. game, still a very tough game, but the body just doesn't accept it, and it's been proven over and over. They don't even bring the stat up anymore. They just want to keep hosing the Raiders. So I agree with that. There's a conspiracy theory out there against the Raiders. That is one reasonable conspiracy theory you can think of. We're not going to get into September 11th on tonight's show, maybe next week's show, but that is actually a fact. All right.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, to be honest with you, I blame Kamala. So here you go. There it is. And now moving forward, we're looking at, we lost already. We are down Malcolm Kuntz, and now we are down Tyree Wilson, and we have moved on, and I guess we got a guy from the Jaguars dumpster fire. And we are thin, guys. We're thin on defense.
Yep.
What are we doing?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough game. I mean, again, I'll go back to we all predicted we were going to lose this next game. And starting off 1-1, I was going to be feeling pretty good about it just based on our circumstances. But losing that first game, knowing that we had the Ravens week 2 in Baltimore as our home opener, was a fucking disaster.
It's a disaster.
Yep. So, but for me, I look at this Sunday's game, and I'm not going to sit here and predict that we're going to win because I'm not going to change my predictions. I want to come out feeling better about the team as a whole, because after this Sunday's game, we got a stretch of 4 winnable games. So, I think we're going to come out 0-2 after this Sunday. I just want us to be competitive, building a little bit of confidence going into our home opener against Carolina. Now, if we lose our home opener to Carolina, it's all she wrote, my friend.
Yeah, that's it. And I would just love to ask you guys, I think it's pretty much the consensus here. We all believe the Raiders are going to lose this game, but what kind of effort does it take to make you believe after watching this game against the Ravens, the Raiders are at least going to be competitive this season? Like, what kind of a score or what kind of effort are you hoping to see? Because, at this point, I'm just looking for the positives, man. You know me. I've always kind of I'm not going to lie to you guys. I've always kind of leaned towards the negative. But what kind of effort do we need to see in this game to believe that, okay, this team is at least going to be competitive this year from this game? What do you need to see? Anybody?
Well, I need to see JPJ go into the O-line and back up Colin Miller, kind of be the glue to kind of hold the shit show together. Because right now we don't have an offense if we don't have a QB that has enough time to throw the ball. And we have now
wait a minute. I want to say this though. In Gardner Minshew's defense, he did have 250 yards passing. The interception he did throw was a tip, and then the problem is the backwards throw for a fumble.
Yeah. That was so, the thing, but I will say, Ernie, this, okay, and I'll let Reasonable John speak. I just want to get this point across.
Yes, sir.
We were at the game, okay, and offense was disaster. Okay, it was a disaster to see it in person. Now, seeing it on TV might have looked different, but when I saw the stats and saw that he had 258 yards passing, I don't know where the hell that came from because
it did not look like it
during the game. It didn't look like it during the game. So,
You know where it came from? He did have some good throws to Devontae. I rewatched the game again, as painful as it was. I did rewatch the game again. You know me, I'm sick. I watched the game again. Devontae had about 5 catches for about 58 yards. And you know who else who did really good was Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers had some nice catches. You know who did not look good was Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer looked like a liability. He looks like he's got 2 left damn feet. Sorry, Notre Dame, John, but he looked like he has 2 left feet and he can't block for nothing.
2 targets, 1 reception for 3 yards.
Yeah, and his blocking is a disaster. So
we got to run the ball. For me, the game, I'm sorry, John, I said I was going to turn to you, but for me, we got to run the ball better. We got to be competitive and actually have a chance to at least pull out some kind of upset in the fourth quarter. I mean, I said it earlier before the show. Right now, you got Baltimore favored by 9 in the NFL. If you change that 9 to college football, that's more of like probably a 30-point favorite. So if we're somewhat competitive and show some kind of spirit, that I think we will, I'll feel pretty good about it. I do anticipate obviously being 0-2 and going into week 3 with 3 or 4 must-win games.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, the bottom line is this. The NFL is a long season. And if you go 0-2, it is probably very hard to possibly make the playoffs. But those next 2 games, like you guys said, are winnable after that. And if you go 2-2, then you feel like it's a fresh start. And that's honestly, we're going to have to hold on for it. But I just feel like, guys, I think we're overly optimistic. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because the constant bombardment of bullshit media from people like JT the Brick, people like Vinny Bong Senor that we listen to all summer and just make us believe that this team's going to be better than it is. But people like John, who's outside of the bubble, could tell us, what did you think, John, moving into the season? What did you think a reasonable expectation was for this team?
Around 500. I mean, you have Minshew that did it with the Colts last year. I thought they could go. I still think that they're going to. I mean, Denver looks like a dumpster fire. So you say you drop to Baltimore, you got a rookie quarterback with a lights out defense. Although here's some stats that I was pulling up for you guys.
Yes, sir.
Gardner Minshew, you're right. On television, it did not look like he had a great game. He had a 95 passer rating. He had a 33-yard pass, threw a touchdown, averaged 7.8, 75% completion percentage, and 1 INT. I mean, if you're saying that's what you want out of your starting quarterback, I would 100% agree that I'll take that every day, plus on Sunday, I would take a starting quarterback to put up those stats. Where you struggled was you didn't run the ball.
You're a little bit too close to the camera, by the way. Back up a little bit.
44 yards from White, and then you gave up 176 yards on the ground. That's where your defense.
And most of those yards, if you watch the game, most of those yards happen on 3 or 4 plays.
It was I tell you right now, Aaron, guys, team. It was the 3 turnovers. It was the 3 turnovers that lost the game. I mean, we take those 3 turnovers away, we're talking about a whole different ball game.
Yeah, but even what John said on the running yards, why that is and why the Raiders defense looks so crappy at this point is just because on 3 or 4 runs, they broke off big plays, and that was probably, guys, because the Raiders defense was so tired. I mean, they'd been on the field most of the game. But I'm not going to panic quite yet. I'm really interested to see how we do this week against a really good team. I feel like we just played down to the level of our opponent, which it seems like the Raiders always do. And I feel like we're going to rise on this game and hopefully at least make it a game. You know what I mean? Just at least make it a game.
Herbert had only had 144 yards passing.
Yeah.
I think that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get 500 yards passing. It doesn't matter if you're not getting in the end zone.
One thing that we've said all along, we can't lose the game on offense, which means you can't turn the ball over. And I keep saying it. 3 turnovers to 0, you're never going to win with this team.
You're not going to win on Mars.
Yeah. So
did you guys check the 142 QB rating that Derek Carr threw up out there?
I was just going to bring him up. You just read my mind, John. Yeah. Now, Derek Carr only threw for 200 yards, but he threw for 3 touchdowns.
He also played against who?
The Panthers.
The
Yeah,
mighty
the
Panthers. Up and
Yeah,
coming
so probably Panthers might go down as the worst team in the history of the NFL this year. So, um, we'll see what he does against Dallas Cowboys. Now,
By the way,
here's the
on
other
that
thing. I'll
note,
say.
I do want to just plug one thing real quick. If you guys have not watched Coach Gruden's new show on YouTube, he's a friend of the show, by the way.
Yeah.
We want to plug that show. We want to make sure we all know that Coach Gruden is back and he is doing a great job on YouTube. So we want people to dive into that, because I'm going to tell you right now, the SoCal Raider Report is with Coach Gruden, and he was wronged. Things are wrong, but you know what? We're going to make it right. So just want to say that real quick.
And I want to say one more thing about Derek Carr. I love Derek Carr. I've always loved him. Now,
Derek Carr.
I don't want him to do good this year for the simple fact that I want the Saints to give up on him so he can come back to us next year. You know what I'm saying? Let's go, baby. That's my.
I like that. I like that reason. I like that reason.
Carlson needed to get his shit together. He almost missed 2 field goals.
Yeah, man, that was another one that Carlson missed. Kind of changed the whole complexion of that game, and moving forward, maybe that's what swang, AP's decision. But I'm going to tell you right now, AP needs to get a Corolla, drop the 6'4" Impala, forget the cigars, and get to the basics here. I don't know how we have all these other assistant head coaches, and we got all these people helping him, and nobody else could tell him hey, it's the end of the game. You're going to have to go for it. 4th and 1, get your best play. You got playmakers, Devontae Adams on a 3-yard slant. Come on. I just still can't believe on 4th and 1 in the enemy territory with the game in line, we would just go into our snail shell, man. Unbelievable.
That was a disaster. That was him showing his lack of experience and understanding. I get it. You have confidence in your defense. Then have confidence in defense if you don't get it to stop them. There's, I don't know. I don't want to go back to that. I mean, we can challenge any call that he made. If they would have punted and they would have stopped them, then it would have been different. But I still think you're not going to convince me that's not a place to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every pundit in the world has said now that was a major mistake, and he's getting clowned at. But I'm telling you, I don't know for what it is. I still support him more than I did Josh McDaniels.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We can go 0-17. I'll still support him more than Josh McDaniels.
Yeah. So anyway, Steeler, Reasonable John, are you going to do a poem? I heard there was going to be an Edgar Allan Poe aspect.
Yeah, I just want you guys, this might be I'm going to bring you guys some inspiration for this week.
All right. I need it.
Presently, my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. Sir, said I, or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping on my chamber door, that I scarce to sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door, darkness there, and nothing more. The Raven, ladies and gentlemen, that is from The Raven. I want you guys to take that into this weekend. I want you to recite that. Hopefully I gave it bad luck and the birds shit all over themselves like a true dirty Baltimore, disgusting. I don't like this role that I have to take against you guys to be the villain here, but this hurts me. So I hope that the Ravens, at least you guys get an injury. If you don't get the win, get an injury, hurt someone serious. All right. That's what I'm hoping for this weekend.
That was so eloquent. That was so well done. I'm very, very impressed and very, very happy that you've rejoined us
Yes.
on the SoCal Raider Report.
Missed you, Johnny.
We missed you, Johnny. And so to you guys, I say this. Well, let's just get in there. Let's enjoy the game. We'll be in contact. Whatever happens, love you guys and go Raiders. We can do this, though. We can do this.
Go Raiders.
Go Raiders, baby. All day, every day.
All day. Peace out. Go Raiders.
You guys are predicting a Raiders loss, or you guys already did that?
We already did, but it's okay.
Well, what do you think it's going to be, John?
I would hope that the Ravens struggle and that the defense, Lamar does seem to struggle with good edge rushers. He has had problems with Pittsburgh, so I don't know. I would, I mean, if their cornerbacks are locked down, the problem is you got to score. So until you guys, maybe you don't. The Steelers have beaten the Ravens 10-9, 13-10.
You guys battled it out, man. That's an AFC Central massacre.
John, right now I believe you are more optimistic about this game than we are, and I've never seen that happen before.
Yeah.
I've never
John, be
seen
more
that happen.
optimistic.
Lamar,
than that.
hey, how many times has Lamar Jackson looked like when the Steelers were a 6-8 team and they had to win? The Steelers beat them twice with a bad team. I mean, they had Pickett at the helm, and they beat them like 10-9, 13. Lamar's had bad games. It's this shouldn't be an automatic boat road. In fact, I bet you Vegas wants everybody to take the Ravens. I think I'm going to bet my money with the 9.5. I'm going to take the points. I'm going to go with the Raiders here.
Well, it would be fantastic if the Raiders win, not because we're Raider fans, also because the rest of the people will be out on our survivor pool because they all went to Ravens. So I might win this by week 3.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. There you have it, everybody. There you go. And if I had to bet too, I think the Raiders will cover that spread. I just don't know if we're going to win. But if we do, then I'm going to be extra turned up, baby.
Oh, my God.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, baby. You guys, we'll see you back next week.
You got it.
And after that, everybody, let's go. SoCal Raider Report. Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace.